Are you wondering if you should start a YouTube channel? A few weeks ago, I created a video why YouTube in 2025 and 2026 might not be worth it. In this video, I'm going to take the complete opposite approach. Why you should start a YouTube channel. Now, if you're brand new here, if you don't know who I am, my name is Alston Godbold. I have made a very good amount of money on YouTube. I have, I think, 6 or 7 YouTube channels at this point. This is the only channel where I show my face. The other channels are faceless, and they're in a variety of niches. But what I've done is I've jotted down 9 different reasons, that you should start a YouTube channel in 2025 and 2026. I think YouTube is still the best opportunity out there, and there is tons of opportunity for growth if you are willing to do these 9 things. YouTube is not as easy as it used to be for a number of reasons. One, I would say the access to information is easier. The ability to create scripts is easier. The ability to create faceless content is easier and cheaper than it's ever been, and better than it's ever been. But with all that being said, I still think that creating a YouTube channel in 2025 and 2026 is still the best thing that you can do for yourself. And these are the 9 reasons why. They're in no particular order. They're not ranked. These are just things that I jotted down before jumping on this camera and making the video. Reason number 1, you can record your journey. Regardless of whatever your content is about, you are going on a journey. For example, with this channel, I started this channel off, 5, 6, 7 years ago at this point. And the first couple videos on my channel were about Amazon Web Services and the things that I was learning about AWS. And then my channel kind of morphed into talking about my journey with a course called Project 24 and blogging. And then it evolved from blogging into affiliate marketing, and then from affiliate marketing into digital products. My channel has evolved because I've been around for so long. It has evolved through 7, 8, 9 different times. And, now I'm just kind of talking about starting YouTube channels and online business and things of that nature. What you can do and what others can do is they can look back at where you started and how you've gotten better, how you've progressed, how you've gone from this maybe shy, introverted guy or girl into a person that is talking on camera extemporaneously, just off the cuff, and it's coherent. You can kind of see how you were unsure of yourself, you didn't have any camera confidence, and now you can just jump on and talk about anything. But more importantly, I think this is really cool, is other people can see your journey. It's great for you. It's great for me. And it's actually going to be great for my kids when they see it. They can look back to this 10 years from now and say, you were this one type of guy, and then you kind of evolved. And also you can kind of see your journey as you age. So I think one of the really cool things about YouTube is that you can see the journey. Other people can see your journey. And I think people being able to go back and seeing your original content helps build trust. Even if your videos don't get a ton of views, even if your videos aren't very good, and I'm willing to admit my first lot of videos weren't very good, but that's okay. Keep them up, and people will respect the journey. They'll respect the hustle, and I think it'll help long term with your success. Number 2, track your progress. Kind of along the same lines as track your journey, or record your journey, but you can track your progress. If you are giving yourself 365 days to do something, make $1 million or whatever it might be, creating a YouTube channel, you can look back and see where you were. You can see how you felt. You can kind of channel that those anger, that emotion, whatever you were feeling at the time. And that's not something that you can do with just blogging, because your face doesn't lie. The way that you say things don't lie, because we all have a cadence, right? We all talk and speak one way if we're happy or sad or whatever it might be. But I really like the idea that you can track your progress of how you went from 0 to 1, simply just creating YouTube videos. And this will work for literally any niche. This will work if you are basket weaving, if you're in the woodworking niche. You can, again, track your progress on how you started off with this little block of wood, and you turn that little block of wood into a I don't know, a bear or whatever it might be. So it's really interesting looking back at your first couple videos and you kind of cringe at them, and then you get that feeling and that emotion of where you were and how you were feeling, and that uncertainty if, hey, maybe this isn't going to work, or maybe this isn't for me, maybe I'm not a YouTuber, maybe I'm not a content creator. So I think those are really cool and powerful things that will either be motivation or humbling. For me, it's a little bit of both of where I used to be. But number three, and really important, you learn transferable skills. Everything that you're going to learn, including like business management, content creation, video editing. You're going to learn about buyer psychology. You're going to learn about color theory. You're learning so much when it comes to being a YouTuber. See, a lot of people have the misconception of being a YouTuber is just sitting down and creating a video. But you've got to do research, right? You've got to come up with a bunch of ideas. You've got to come up with ideas that your target audience wants, and do that consistently, and do that as your consumer, your target audience evolves. Maybe they're getting older, maybe they're getting smarter, maybe the demographics are changing. You've got to write a script if you're a scriptwriter, or you have to have bullet points that are coherent and succinct, and you've got to be able to get your message across. You've got to be able to speak publicly and build a connection and build a relationship. So being a YouTuber isn't just being a YouTuber. There's so many aspects that go into it in the very beginning that I think a lot of people underestimate it, and they really underestimate the time that it's going to take to be successful. But these skills that you're learning, public speaking, video editing, thumbnail design, all of these different skills, you could put them on a resume and people are going to say, well, how do I know that you are good at video editing? And you can point to a video that you've edited and say, hey, look, this YouTube channel that I did and had been doing successfully, I did all the work. I came up with the ideas. I kept people watching. I understood what customers valued most, and I got people to watch my videos. Believe it or not, I would say probably one of the most important things is the transferable skills. You're also going to learn about business. I don't think I have, I do have learned business on here, so I'll talk about that in a little bit. But you will learn business as well. You are going to learn a bunch of skills that you can take with you. And the more skills that you can learn and the more you can develop them, the more money that you make. The best YouTubers in the world, they have skills. They learn them through creating YouTube content, and they've been able to do them at a high level. Now they're probably at a point where they can hire people out to do that. But even hiring people and having a team is a skill that is transferable. Being a manager of a YouTube channel or of a YouTube team is a high level skill because it shows that you have management, you have communication, you have interpersonal skills. And now that people have that, and you could take that on the road with you if you wanted to get a quote unquote regular job. The other cool thing with YouTube is now seen more of like a regular job. I don't get as many people commenting on my videos, why don't you get a real job anymore? I used to get a few of those a week. Why don't you go get a real job? When I was working full time. And so I think more and more people are starting to see that YouTube can be a real job if done correctly. Number four, and this is why most people do it, is to make money. Now, there are a bunch of ways to make money, and you might not make a bunch of money in the beginning. You might not ever make a bunch of money. I've been blessed and fortunate enough to make substantial amount of money with YouTube. But in the very beginning, I was just starting off. I was making enough to pay for a dinner here and there. I was making, $21 a day. I was making enough to maybe cover groceries. But if you're working a full-time job and YouTube can cover a bill, that goes a long way to alleviate some stress and some frustration. People will say money is the root of all evil, but if you can build a YouTube channel that pays one bill to start and then eventually pays 3 bills and 5 bills, you will have a better life because you won't be stressed out about money. It will take away. One of the hardest things is making tough decisions or making decisions based on money. I've been growing up, or not even growing up, just fresh out of college, when I was having a difficult time trying to find a job, I I had to make that tough decision. Am I going to eat today, or am I going to pay my car insurance? And obviously, I had to pay my car insurance, and so you wound up skipping meals. And if you can have your YouTube channel in the very beginning paying you enough to cover your groceries for a month, that's one less thing. And it frees up. It gives you a little bit of freedom. It gives you mind freedom. It gives you time freedom. Um, you know, you're not as controlled by your boss anymore. You know, I've worked in those types of jobs. Like I used to work at Menards. I've worked at Burger King. I've worked at Walmart. I've worked at Office Max. This was all like through college and right after college, where they would ask you to do something, but it wasn't really asking. And you kind of had to do it because you didn't have any other choice. You know, you were either going to do what they asked you to do, or they were going to take you off the schedule completely, and you wouldn't have any money. And as unfortunate as that is, there's a lot of people in that type of situation. And if you can start making some money from YouTube, at least, $20 a day to start, you have that little bit of freedom and flexibility to say, no, I can't or don't want to. And you're not beholden to your boss and to doing things where you've got to actively earn income. Number 5, and this kind of goes into making money, you can build relationships one to many. And for number 4, when you make money, I didn't talk about all the different ways that you can make money, but there's probably at least 7. I have a bunch of videos talking about the different ways that you can make money. If you want to learn, comment how to make money on YouTube, and I'll make a video. But I have a number of those videos up on the channel. Maybe I'll point to 1 or 2 of them. Number 5, build relationships one to many. One of the most important things that YouTube offers you to do, the ability to do, is to build a one-to-many relationship. Each YouTube video that you make is a little you building a relationship with someone on the other side of the camera. And that relationship can go a long way. They eventually can buy something from you. The more they watch you, the more they know, like, and trust you. The more that they're willing to share your content if it resonates with them. It allows you to build a one-to-many relationship, and that gives you even more freedom. That gives you time freedom. That might give you financial freedom. And basically what I mean by that is I have, like 2,000 videos on this YouTube channel. And let's say over the last 24 hours, I've had 7,000 people. Let's over the last hour. Last hour, I've had 10,000 people watching my content. That's 10,000 me's talking to people from all over the world, building connections, building relationships, and impacting their life in a positive way. And that's something that you've got to remember too, is that you are impacting people's lives in a positive way. You should be impacting people's lives in a positive way. You are helping them solve problems. You're helping them in their frustration, and they will like you for it. They will love you for it. They will potentially buy stuff from you, all because you are impacting and improving their life in a positive way. But, you're building a relationship right now. If you're still watching this video, I'm building a relationship with you. Either you're agreeing with what I'm saying or you're disagreeing. And if you're disagreeing, you might feel compelled to comment down below why I'm wrong. But regardless, whether it's a positive relationship or negative, I am out there working right now. Right now it's 5:20 a.m. on September 21st. I've been up since 2 a.m. I just wake up at random times. I guarantee you that when you're watching this video, I'm doing something else. If you're watching it later today, I'm probably watching football. If you're watching it tomorrow or maybe on Tuesday, I'm probably coaching my son's flag football. And that's the power of creating video content. I am working with you, I'm working for you, and I'm trying to help you even when I'm out doing something else. And that, again, that gives you that time freedom. That gives you that location freedom, where if you are working for a job or working for an employer, and there's nothing wrong with working for an employer. I did it for a number of years. That allows you, if you're working for an employer, you don't have that time freedom. You're beholden to what that boss says and does. But I think one of the most important things is that you are building a one-to-many relationship, but it's on a one-to-one format. I'm making this video just for you, but hopefully this video is seen by a million views, right? That's the ultimate goal for YouTube, is to have each one of your videos get a million views. But even if it gets 200 views, I am making this video for you, each one of the 200 people that watch this video. Number 6, this one's kind of funny. You become famous, sort of, right? My kids see my YouTube play button and they say, Dad, they ask me about YouTube all the time. Or, they tell their friends that I have a YouTube channel or that I'm a YouTuber, which is kind of funny. And their friends will ask me about YouTube and being a YouTuber. YouTube people, being YouTube famous is, I'm like a Y list celebrity. You got A list celebrities, you got B list and C list. I'm a step up from a Z list celebrity, but your kids think it's kind of cool, and you might get noticed while you're out in public, which is kind of cool. And I've told this story on here twice, a few different times of how I was noticed in public by 2 different people, and actually. I actually met with one of them last week, Wednesday or Thursday, to talk about how to grow his business. He got a ton of value out of it. I didn't record it because I was at Starbucks and I didn't really know how to record it. But I had a really good conversation with him. And maybe I'll record the follow-up. Maybe we'll do it in like a library or something where I can record it. But I've been noticed 2 different times in the real world, both times with my kids. And they discovered me. They knew me from YouTube. And when you tell people that you have a YouTube channel, they're always very interested and fascinated about it. And they're asking a ton of questions. They ask about how many views and all of that stuff. So you become like kind of famous. It becomes an interesting topic at the table, at the dinner table. Number 7, which I think is really important, you learn business. There are lots of aspects of business of YouTube that are business related. You're learning about things like click-through rates. You're learning about CPMs, RPMs. You're learning about money management. You're learning about buying equipment and reinvesting and things of that nature. So I think starting a YouTube channel, and once it becomes monetized, or even when you monetize it with your digital product, you start looking at sales funnels. You start looking at conversion rates, and you start looking at lifetime value of a customer. These are all business terms that companies like Amazon and Spotify and whomever else use in order to determine if their business is growing, staying the same, or declining, which is really cool. You become business, and you start moving a little bit differently. You're much more careful with what you say and do, because you always have in the back of your mind, how is this going to impact my business? Number 8, one of the most important things that you'll do once you start a YouTube channel is you'll have a mindset shift. You'll go from consumer to creator. And that's important because consumers spend money. If you are watching YouTube religiously, you probably see a bunch of ads and you probably spend more money. But if you are a creator, you are creating assets. In this instance, you're creating videos, which are digital assets, and you're probably either building relationships with affiliate networks, you're maybe doing brand deals and sponsorships, or maybe even selling your own products, and you are creating things. You are creating things based off of ideas. You're creating things based off of your ideas and other people's ideas, and that ultimately leads to more money if you do it right. One of the most important skills, just going back, is the skill of consistency and persistence. Those are probably 2 hardest skills that people have to learn. Consistency, doing the same thing, same boring thing every single day or frequently, 3 times a week at least, and showing up and doing it without the guarantee or the promise of a return. I like to think about content creation, YouTube and TikTok, as like being an athlete. Your favorite basketball player, let's say Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, LeBron James. I'm sure you guys know at least one of those 3 people. They didn't just wake up one day and say, I'm going to become a top 1% basketball player in the world. Many people play basketball. I play basketball. In fact, me and LeBron James are the same age. I play basketball 3 times a week. He plays basketball for a living. He has been shooting baskets, thousands of baskets per week since he was 6. That's consistency and persistence. He's been shooting the same jump shot from the same spot multiple times per week, doing it over and over, the same boring thing every single day for, I don't know, probably 30 years, 35 years at this point. That's consistency, that's persistence. Learning, developing, and growing. If the way that you're shooting doesn't go in, you adjust. If your form is off, you adjust, and you keep adjusting, and you keep adapting to changing environments. And I think LeBron James is a pretty good example. LeBron James has been playing in the NBA for 20 years now, literally 20 years. And over those 20 years, the way that basketball has been played has changed. And so he's had to adapt over those 20 years, probably 3 or 4 times, so that he could remain relevant. I think I might talk about that a little bit later, but I kind of just went off on a side quest. But if you can have that mind shift from consumer to creator, you'll have unlimited ideas, you'll make more money, you'll make content, and you'll have that freedom that I've been mentioning throughout this video. And number 9, creating content, being a YouTuber, forces you to stay current. Because YouTube is changing frequently and the consumer is changing frequently, the viewer is changing frequently, you have to constantly stay up to date on the newest trends, on the newest news and information, what's happening in the real world, so that you can still connect. If I was still doing things back in the day, still talking about blogging, I would be left in the dust unless I was willing to talk about blogging and AI. You know, AI has a huge part in everything that we do now, and the ability to look and see what's happening, adapt, adjust, and improve is a huge part of being a successful YouTuber. But I think that everybody should start a YouTube channel. I think in the very beginning, have realistic expectations. Don't expect that you're going to make 10K in 90 days, especially if you don't have any knowledge, skills, or experience. I always hate that. But everyone should start a YouTube channel. Everyone should start a YouTube channel where they show up on camera. Everyone should start a YouTube channel, show up on camera, and get it working, and then branch off into other stuff. And your YouTube channel should be about whatever your hobby is, whatever you do at work, whatever you just like to talk about. If you like to talk about celebrity gossip, if you like to watch, I don't know, Real Housewives of Racine, Wisconsin, make content about that. Your opinions, your thoughts. People are going to agree with you and disagree with you, but that's okay. That's part of the process. It helps you formulate and organize your opinions and your thoughts so that you can convey them. But tell me what you think. And let me know if you are part of the 23-minute club, because it's really important to me that I'm giving you good information throughout this whole thing that compels you to stay throughout the entire video. Anyway, I think that's it. You guys have a great day, and we'll talk soon.